connect some dots or being interrogated with law enforcement. So what I think happened was that she went in there and there were law enforcement was asking her a bunch of different questions like when did you wake up, what time was it, what was the first thing you noticed. I mean, a bunch of different things. And then that's why when she gets out there and does her interview, she's like, I woke up, we didn't hear anything, they must have gone out the back door, they must have done this, they must have done that. And the reason why it feels like it's, to me at least, it feels like it's like that is because she had just probably within the net, within a day or so, maybe even that day, probably gone into some kind of like, I don't want to say interrogation, but almost like a brainstorming of ideas of what possibly could have happened to the kids and what happened that morning so that they could piece it together. And that's what it sounded like to me. But I do agree that she left fairly early. And I believe she's been going to like different places and stuff like that, which doesn't necessarily mean anything nefarious. But I do understand the meaning, behind the suspicious behavior. What do you think about like, if she was involved though, how do you think she was involved?
Well, you don't search for what is, I mean, she appears to be a mother that doesn't think her kids are missing because you would think that that's what we would see from her. And her
Right,
behavior is just telling me everything that I need to know. As a
right. But
mother,
like,
I would tilt the world to find my babies.
right. And I don't disagree with you there, but like, what do you think happened? Do you think she did something, or do you think an accident happened, or do you think she's part of an abduction?
Maybe I'm just a dreamer, and I'm just always keeping hope alive, but I do think that the kids are alive, and I think that they are, it's possible that they are with a tribe somewhere.
Okay.
I think that she knows where they're at, and I think that they're alive. Otherwise,
I
I
hope
think
so.
we would see another behavior. Maybe I'm just, from what my point of view, the way that I investigate, I'm looking for them both deceased and alive. I'm open to whatever. I'm open to changing my mind. But the one thing that I cannot get out of I mean, it's evident. Her behavior is evident, and her behavior is very suspect to me. I don't like it. I think that a mother should tilt the world to find their kids. She's got two little kids that are missing, and we don't see her begging and pleading and crying, "Where are my babies?" Like, where is
Right,
the love? Where is the mother that we want?
right,
It's just like with, Sebastian Rogers' case. Same thing. Where is the mother's plea to the public?
right.
I would like to see that from her, and she is my main suspect.
Okay. I
She
mean,
knows where the kids are
outside of
at.
outside of the behavior aspect, let's try to narrow this down as far as like what we can deduce. So if they are alive, and I know you mentioned reservation, do you think she orchestrated this with the reservation?
I think it's possible.
Okay. And so if we
I
were to
do.
go
I think
down
it's
that,
possible.
all right, let's go down that road. Let's try to deduce it and see how it fits. So there would have had to have been some sort of meeting or a setup. At least, how many meetings do you think she would have had to have had with somebody at the reservation to plan and execute this elaborate abduction?
I don't think that it would have been that hard.
Okay.
It just depends on what her plea was to them. I don't know. I mean, I really, I mean, I wish I had all the answers. It's just that there's certain,
It-
I think with the work that I do, it's possible.
right.
It's
I mean,
possible.
law enforcement has her phone, which included her text messages. It um, included a lot of different things. We do have another person coming in, so we're going to start the 2 minute clock now.
Okay.
But they do
I
have.
appreciate you just, letting me come in and
Oh, of course, I
saying
enjoy
what I
this.
think. I'm open to working with Daniel. He can totally reach out to me, and it can be private. It can be
Yes.
a private working of the map.
Yeah, if you want, email me and I'll send him that email address, your contact information, and if he wants to get in touch with you, he can. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh yeah.
but so for me,
Okay. Cool.
if it was, Malaya, and um, law enforcement has her phone, law enforcement has her locations, they have her text messages, they have everything that has to do with that phone, which would include, probably some, where she's been at and things of that nature. And my thoughts are that some of those things would have to be missing, and some of those things would have to be replaced or deleted. That would take some sort of planning, in my opinion, um, to go through that sort of effort. Now, if it would they would have to have met a few times, like, all right, this is the plan, this is what we're going to do, and then, where are the kids going to go? They would have had to have aligned something. Here's where the kids are going to go. This is who we have this house or these people that are going to watch the kids for a little while. We have this going on over here. This is where they're going to go after the fact. So I would have assumed that there would have been some sort of detailed planning in this. And then the question for me is why? Like, it's not like Daniel's the biological father where he has some sort of custodial rights. If she wanted to go to the reservation and say, hey, I
But
want
can
my
I
kids
say
to go to
something?
you. Go ahead.
Can I say something? Okay,
Yes.
so as a mother, I have been with men that just kind of give me the ick. Me and
Okay.
my daughter, we call it the ick. Okay, we just get the ick. And she had been feeling this. If she had been feeling it a certain way for a while, she could have conjured up a plan to get those kids out of there. And
But
I don't know. That's if I hope that would be the best case scenario, right? Is that she was getting the ick. There was some weird shit. There was some stuff going on, and she just didn't like it.
mhm. It
Yeah,
could
I've been
be.
there.
I mean, I
I've
just
been
don't
there.
understand why it would take an
I don't
elaborate,
know.
elaborate abduction for that to have happened. I mean, if I was the reservation and Malaya comes to me saying, I want to get out of this relationship with Daniel, or I can't handle the kids and I want somebody else to take care of them, I would say, all right, you're the mother. The father hasn't been in the picture for a while. We have some documents that you can sign over your rights for him, and or you can sign over waivers, you can sign over temporary custody, you can sign over a lot of things. It's just, I'm not, I don't know that if I'm the reservation that I'm going to say, you know what, let's go do this elaborate hoax abduction, we'll not say anything to anybody, and then just hope that the RCMP doesn't figure this out when they go through your phones, or any of those things, and continually waste their money because RCMP's out there, going through these exhaustive searches. And so I get 100% why everybody is looking at her and say, hey, her actions aren't there. I just don't see the evidence that connects to it. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
the evidence is her behavior. That's the way that I
Right.
look at it. The evidence is in her behavior. Her behavior is telling me all I need to know. She's either one, guilty of doing something horrible to the kids, or she has hid them out.
It's a possibility.
You know,
Well, I
if,
want to
if
say, oh, go ahead.
maybe the reservation, maybe they're not in, I don't know. I
Yeah.
think, people are saying, well, it's illegal to do this. Well, it's illegal to do everything that she's done.
Right.
She's not showing any remorse, any sadness, any plea to the public. I want to see her begging for us to help her find her kids all
No.
in those woods. I mean, where is she searching for them? What is she doing? The last that I saw, it could be true, it may not be, but she was in on the beach. I mean, living it up,
Yeah.
living her best life. Her kids are missing. Her behavior is the most suspect to me. She is the bio mom. Where is she? Why is she doing nothing to find these kids? We are doing more than she is. It's disgusting. I don't like it. I think she is just, I mean, everybody's focused on Daniel. Where is the mother?
No,
Where is
I
she
don't. I
at?
don't. I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I think,
Well, I'm going to give other
it's
people,
suspicious.
yeah, I'm going to give other people time to come up here. And thank you so much for
Thank
having
you.
me up on your panel. I appreciate you.
Yes, yes, ma'am. You have a great one. Thank you so much
You
for being
too,
here.
hon. Bye bye.
And next we have two in the box. We have Astro by Lauren, and then Sarah, I'll bring you up here in a little bit. Let me see how Astro by Lauren is doing. Astro, how are you doing tonight? In fact, I think she actually just came in. The Astro by Lauren.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Astro by Lauren. You're gonna need to go on to. I'm gonna pull you out real quick, and I'm gonna put it in the private chat. What you need to do. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, Daniel.
Okay, I'll put it in the private chat.
Okay, so everyone can hear me, but I can't hear you speaking.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. But
here, I'm gonna log out and then log back in. Should I log?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hang on.
All right. While she does that, I'm going to bring Sarah. Sarah, you're on the line. How's it going? You're muted,
Hi,
Sarah.
can you hear me?
I can hear you, Sarah. Can you hear me?
Hi. Thanks for letting me chat. So I just wanted to make a couple comments on the last caller before I add some more comments. I mean, I was very suspicious as well of the mother at first. Same thing, thinking, I'm a mother as well, and thinking what I would do in that situation. But then I got to thinking, A, you never know what you're going to do in that situation until you're in that situation. And B, there was a comment about how she's living it up on the beach and everything. Well, I think, has there been reports of her living it up on the beach, or was there one picture of her going to the beach?
I have heard. See, that's just the thing. That's all I've heard too, is that she was going to the beach. I think there was some audio, and the audio, I actually heard this audio myself as well. And this audio was from, I believe it was either Haley or Hayden, one of the two, one of the persons that found the blanket. And they were talking about how Malaya was acting suspicious, going to the beach, getting dressed up, things like that. Now, to be 110% honest with you, now that I think about it, it was an audio, so I've never heard Haley or Hayden talk, so it may not even have been them. But it seemed legit. I trust the source that I got it from. But that's what they were saying. And I had even told this with Daniel, because Daniel had suspected that, and he had wanted either one of them to, or both, to take a lie detector test, because they're the ones that found the blanket. And I was like, hey, if they planted the blanket for Malaya, why are they all of a sudden being suspicious of her behavior? They would have, if they planted it, they would have known that there was something odd going on, because they're planting a blanket for her. Mm-hmm. Why all of a sudden be talking this way? So I'm a little bit hesitant about those two things.
Yeah. As far as, I'm not necessarily sticking up for her, believe that she's completely innocent in all this. I'm still undecided. But, for her not to go on camera in public, I mean, on the other hand, you see some people whose kids are missing who go on camera who are actually guilty. So,
that's true.
Going on camera does not necessarily mean that you have nothing to hide. But overall, I think my belief is that they were somehow abducted, picked up. And I feel because the area is such a dead zone as far as cell phone coverage and everything, I think someone could have driven in a car that doesn't have GPS, an older vehicle. Maybe they don't have a cell phone, they're completely untraceable. And I feel that the kids maybe went out to the road, were picked up, and either, they could have even been dropped off somewhere in the woods and then got lost in the woods. But yeah, I think it's an abduction.
I don't rule out an abduction. Now, in the manner that you mentioned, somebody who has an old car with no GPS, no cell phone, and then just so happens to be passing by in this rural area when the kids are out there, I think that the possibilities are very slim. Now, the fact that it is a dead zone could work in their favor. And the reason why I say their favor and whose favor that is law enforcement. And the reason being is because it's between where Janie's house is, and then there's a like a mailbox, and that's where the service in between there. It's a specific area because it's in a valley. And so if it was an abduction, we're looking at a crime of opportunity, most likely, as you mentioned, somebody that walked, saw them out in the middle of the street or walked in the front driveway. Maybe they weren't in the street, maybe they were just in the driveway, and somebody pulled up. And I think that it'd be a little bit easier to find a cell phone, perhaps, that's blinking in and out of service because they're in that area. Now, for everything else to align, a child predator in a old vehicle without a cell phone at the right time, at the right place, the possibility of that is very slim. But I mean, it's still there. It's still possible that could have happened. To me, though, I think we're looking for somebody who, if they did abduct the kids, it would be very difficult to locate them through those means, whether it's your cell phone and stuff. And I don't necessarily think that could be a person who doesn't have a phone, but a person who wouldn't be a stranger for the area, a neighbor of some sort.
Yeah, true. I kind of think that too. As far as the blanket, I was wondering if maybe was this like a loved blanket for the kids or for Lilly? Because what if Lilly herself took it from the garbage, saw that it had been thrown away, and I don't know, maybe somehow saw it in the garbage and grabbed it. I know sometimes when I've thrown away old things from my kids, they see it in the garbage and they want it back.
Right.
And
the garbage bin was kind of big. I don't foresee them able to get in and out of it that way. I do. So Daniel says that the camera didn't pick it up. Now, does that mean that it wasn't there, or does that just mean that where the camera was positioned, it just didn't pick it up? It was out of the view, or whatever the case may be. I find it unlikely if it went both ways, because that's a long straight road. So you should be able to see it going towards that direction, the pink blanket in the tree. It wasn't that big. It was 1 foot by 3 foot. So It was a smaller portion of the blanket. And he told me that the blanket had been in the garbage, and the garbage had been in the bin for over a week. So apparently the garbage, I think, arrives every 2 weeks. It was about to get picked up on that Monday, and that specific piece of garbage had been in the trash for over a week.
And I just have one other comment. I don't know if that area is like my area here, but every spring we have what's called Junk Week, and you can put extra garbage out and household items for your local garbage organization to pick them up rather than going to the dump. And I noticed in that their Junk Week was the following week after the kids got missing. So if it's anything like my area, we have people who kind of go around to everyone's driveways to see if there's anything worth keeping, because they have it set out for Junk Week. So I think that could, account for somebody in the area for no other reason than to like scope out people's junk. Just an idea.
It's possible. I thought that, there's a guy that lives in the area. And I haven't named him because I have no evidence outside of his history and possible behaviors of a person that could have, my experience in law enforcement dealing with some folks. And so there's a guy that lives in the area who was a criminal, a professional thief, apparently. And he was a professional criminal. All he did was steal. He and I believe another man, I think it's his brother, maybe another relative of his, actually were forced out of a town because of the amount of stuff that they were stealing. And I was able to locate some news reports referencing his arrests. And his arrests were for everything for drug possession to not robbery, burglary, and violence. Yeah, he had a something violent in his past as well. And so, this guy, I believe, had done some time, and he lives fairly close. Now, from what I understand is that the command center was near his residence, and he wasn't too fond for law enforcement being on his property or near his property.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, if he is a thief because he's supporting a habit, I have not, in my experience, dealing with persons who are thieves dealing with a habit, they're not. You'll find them going through the trash looking for things they can either fix, clean, or whatever they can sell and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was a situation. If somebody grabbed, the trash bin, felt something like fabric, tore it to see what was in it. If it was clothes they could wash or something, put their hand in there, pull out a piece of the blanket. I know a lot of people get tripped up on thinking that for some reason that the person who tore the blanket tore the garbage, knew exactly what was inside. I don't understand where they are connecting that dot, that they had to have known. I think it was more so by happenstance if somebody did do that, because I still think there's a possibility that an animal could have done it and it just, naturally found its way out there. I do think it's a bit odd that it is not too far away from the boot prints.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sarah. Well, I appreciate you joining. You have a great one.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Now we got Astro by Lauren. Astro, can you hear us this time?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How's it going?
Excellent. Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to be on here. I like talking to a lot of different people, a lot of different ideas. It's great. What are your thoughts?
Excellent. So I'll try to be quick because I know we have 2 minutes. So I was the astrologer that was on Sunny's channel. It's a crime and shame early on, like in May and in June. And so I did a lot of analysis on the case. And if anybody remembers me from then, just know that I feel exactly now how I felt back then. And I am with the first astrology caller, Astrology for Mystics, I think it was. Malaya is my number one suspect, but the two things that I did want to add to the conversation in terms of the questions that you're asking is one reason why what I think her motivation was is that there's a historical, well, okay. She told Belinda that she wanted to protect Meadow from CPS. And I believe that she wanted to leave Daniel and wanted to protect her other two, Jack and Lilly, from CPS. And that is why I think that she disappeared her own kids. Do I think that they're still alive? I really don't know. I feel like if they were, they would have shown their faces by now. But I do think initially that is her reason for hiding her own children, not to keep away from Daniel, but because she wanted to leave Daniel, had these 3 kids, and thought that was the best thing to do for those 2. And go ahead.
So did she not think that Meadow would be taken by CPS given the fact that she was missing children?
I think that she did not think that far. I think she panicked when she called 911. I'm not 911, whatever it is in Canada. I think that was never in the plan. And no, it was not the smartest plan. And there are other ways to do it. But
and who do you think helped her?
Oh, her family, absolutely her family. And I don't know. I just want to say that there's a historical precedence for some would say hiding children, but keeping children safe amongst the First Nations people there across the different provinces. So there's just a historical precedents that we don't necessarily understand. So who do I think is helping her? Her family, absolutely her family, whether it's her mom, whether it's her cousins, whether it's her dad's family, it could be both. But that entire family, absolutely. I mean, I respect that Cindy wants to keep her job, but Cindy, that's another one. She's the grandmother. Like, look at how Belinda, has presented herself publicly, and look at how Cindy has, and Cindy has not at all.
Right.
So that is what I think, and I do think it has to do with her children possibly being taken from CPS and wanting to leave Daniel at the same time. That is really what I think about it.